Hi everyone, just letting you know we'll kick off in about 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, just to prepare you if you want to go to the bathroom or anything. When we do, I'll ask you all just to turn off your mobile phones or turn them on silent. I'll introduce the graduands and then we'll start the ceremony. Thank you. Stephen. Good evening, everybody. My name is Alex Gilby. I am the Academic Director at AIT, and it's a real pleasure to have so many friends and family here tonight to celebrate a really, really great occasion. As I said, in a minute I'm going to introduce the graduands. There's a bit of a... Can you hear that thumping? Is that possible to just turn it down a little bit? Can you hear me clearly enough up the back? Okay, wonderful. You know what it is. There we go. That's better. So, bit of housekeeping. As I said, if you could all please turn your phones on silent or off if it's easier. In the case of an emergency, if any of the artwork that we've got grows sentience and comes after us throughout the night, there's a fire escape just here, and there's one near the elevators. Listen to me, I'm the fire warden, and I'll tell you what to do. If you need the bathrooms, there are male and female bathrooms in the foyer, and there's a unisex bathroom just around the corner there. After the ceremony concludes, we'll have refreshments and drinks, and you saw them being set up in here, so they'll all be ready for you straight away. And I would also ask you just to hold your applause until the end, because it gets really tiring clapping for an hour. So if there's anything else, you need, please look for any of our staff. You've seen Sammy, who has been wandering around. She's our student services representative. She will be able to help you if you need anything. But apart from that, here she is. Sammy, if you can just wave. Hello. If anyone needs anything, grab Sammy. However, without further ado, welcome. Can you all please be upstanding for the graduating classes of 2024 and 2025. And the academic team that has supported these graduands through their last few years of study. Thank you. Please be seated. I'd also like to start by welcoming everyone who is online. We are live streaming this event tonight for students who can't be with us because they're back in their home countries or they're working and they're overseas. So welcome. We have a camera just down here, and if you want to wave to it as you go past, you'll be able to contact all of the people who are viewing this online. We have distinguished guests from the Next Ed Group, Greenwich Higher Ed, Greenwich College, and AIT down the back, and I welcome them all. Friends, family, and most importantly, graduands. Now, back in 2022, we went through a little bit of a rebirth at AIT. We did a little bit of research and we looked at what our graduates at that time were actually developing in industry and thought about how we might be able to alter the way that things were going. And throughout that process, we created a few new courses in 2D, 3D film and games off the back of an already successful generalist Bachelor of Interactive Media. And tonight we honour both the culmination of a chapter that has blessed AIT and its students with so much success and the first graduating group of the future. Tonight, the final the final students in the Bachelor of Interactive Media and the first cohort of the new Bachelors of Interactive Media sit together, as well as the final cohort of the Bachelor of IT Games Programming and a refreshed cohort of the Bachelor of IT Mobile Application Development. There's a lot of significance in that, but before going too far, I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land, the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, where Indigenous families and communities for centuries and centuries have performed ceremonies of storytelling, dance, music and celebration. I'd like to pay my respects to the elders past and present and acknowledge those for the future, because they'll hold the traditions of the Indigenous people in the future and they'll create more stories. And like them, we all have stories. That's why we're here. Whether you're a games programmer, whether you're an IT developer, whether you work in animation or film, you are creating stories. And you will hope that those stories last a lifetime, if not longer. I have stories as well. In fact, my story has a component of an Indigenous heritage to it. And just quickly, I'll give you a little bit of light. Now, my grandfather's grandfather was the first free-holding landowner in New South Wales, Indigenous free-holding landowner. His father was one of the first Indigenous Australians enrolled to vote. There was a pretty significant time back then in Western Sydney where they congregated because the world was changing. There were government policies which weren't necessarily aligned to harmony, particularly when it came to Indigenous families. There was pressure from the church, there was pressure from the state, there was pressure from new settlers, and there were a range of people who were coming together to try and figure out how to live. Now, one of the things that John Joseph Riley, who is my great-great-grandfather, understood is that tradition is important, but so is the future. So is adaptation and understanding those who you will be associating with in the environments that you'll be associating with them in. The strategies that they used in that community back in those times were to include the church and the state in their community. In fact, my great-great-grandfather presented a possum skin cloak to the bishop at a ceremony one day to take back to Rome as a token of collaboration and community for that particular area. They welcomed in bishops, archbishops and pastors to break bread with them, and they went to some of their ceremonies as well. Now, these people didn't necessarily believe in the religions or the ways of the white settlers who were in the area, but they embraced them so that they would embrace one another. They learnt how to coexist, and the results of this adaptation and this community were that no children in that community were ever taken from their families and put into white families. All children went to school, regardless of their colour or their religion, together. The community thrived, and there were also safe houses created in that area for families who weren't as privileged as anyone else, so the communities grew together. Now, that's quite unique at the time. But the key in that particular environment was working together, collaborating, and knowing that things change. And it's kind of similar to what you as graduates are going through tonight. The industries that you're working in are global, they're connected, they're fast moving. There's a really strong demand for the skills that you have, but also emerging skills that you may not have necessarily considered when you started studying. And the emerging skills that are coming into the environments that you're going into professionally will require adaptation, whether we like it or not. And so one of the things that I think is really important is to consider how you can be T-shaped. And if you think about a T, you've got a broad width and you've got a straight depth. Now, your depth is all of the technical skills that you've learnt in your animation, film, IT, games degrees. They're all of the programming, all of the coding, all of the design, all of the rigging and the modelling. But the broad T component of those skills requires you to be able to network, requires you to be able to collaborate, requires you to be able to think critically and change when you need to change. One of the elements of your courses has been strategically to implement those types of skills so that by the time you get to your advanced studios and your forges, you know how to work with one another, you know how to navigate conflict, you know how to work with people and present what you're doing. And it is our genuine hope that you'll be able to take those skills into the environments you're going in and to be T-shaped. There is a lot of promise that's in the environments that you're working in, the professional organisations, in the professional industries. In IT, for example, there are 1.3 million tech jobs that are apparently required by the year 2030, and the skills they're seeking are things like data, networking, systems, programming, as a broad spectrum, which also embrace the emerging technologies that are coming. In games, there are indie studios popping up all over the country. There is a significant investment from the government in games. In fact, they're expecting the games industry in Australia to reach $339.1 million in revenue by the end of the year, and it will only grow. Film and television has peaks and troughs. Film is strong, television is strong, and there is also investment in Australia that's coming in the form of new studios that are being created in Sydney to hopefully attract Hollywood-style presentations and Hollywood-style output. In animation, there is a burgeoning animation industry, particularly in 3D, with the compound annual growth rate in animation rising at 14.8% per year, which is greater than that of the rest of the world. So there is a lot of life in the Australian industry, particularly if you're in animation, games, IT and film. But you will face challenges. There's no denying that. We all face challenges regardless of what we do. Markets can be volatile. Automation does take away some of the things you've learnt and requires you to prove how good you can be. Fortunately, I've seen the skills that a lot of you have, and there is a lot of talent sitting in this room. And competition is global. But I've got some strategies for you to try and circumvent any challenges that you get. You've probably heard them all before. I don't think they're rocket science, but they're practical. Don't stop building portfolios that demonstrate outcomes. You've all started developing portfolios. You've used them for internships. You've used them for final projects. You've used them to promote yourself to employers. Make sure the portfolios that you've got keep evolving with outcome-based work. As I said, be T-shaped. Don't just think about single-minded skills that you have developed in a technical capacity. Think about your value as a human. Think about how you can adapt, work with others, think critically. Think about how you can transfer those skills to different environments, because that will get you over the line in industry. Employers look for people who learn how to learn. So learn how to learn quickly. This is not the end of your learning. This is the end of a part of your learning, and you will go into the industry and you will keep learning. My advice is to keep doing it and do it quickly. Network intentionally. There's a big difference between looking at a number of industry events, talks, lectures, screenings, and going to them, compared to going to a party. If you network intentionally, if you have goals, targets, and outcomes, and put yourself in places where other people in your world will be congregating, that will benefit you. Be savvy. Know that going out into the environment doesn't mean just doing. You need to understand budgets, you need to understand contracts, you need to understand intellectual property and your own value. Embrace adaptation, because change will come. But never stop telling stories that matter. And one of the things that makes me proudest to be connected to AIT is that the humans who are here come because they are deeply passionate about their field, their craft, and their impact on the world. The students that I've come to know over my time have always wanted to tell stories that matter, and I never want to see you stop. Because that personality, that passion, that part of your soul that you embed in your code, in your movies, in your animations and games, makes them yours, makes them real. So don't stop telling stories that matter. And spiral out. Don't stay in your own little world. Keep spiraling, keep growing, and keep connecting and collecting. Because if you spiral out, your impact on the world will be exponential. You've made it to this particular point in your journey. You've done so successfully, and it makes me incredibly proud to see you. So congratulations. Now, we have a couple of guests with us tonight who are going to provide a little bit of insight, potentially greater than mine. The first of them is our General Manager, Roxy Eney. Roxy will come up. I'd like to introduce Roxy to the stage now, who will give you some of her pieces of mind.
Good evening, everyone, and congratulations. My name is Roxy. I am the General Manager. To be honest, it's the first time when I am part of a graduation, so I'm nervous and excited at the same time. It reminds me of the years when I finished university a long, long time ago. So, as I said, it's a real pleasure to be here today and celebrate such a milestone with you, your graduation. Today is all about recognizing your hard work, your commitment, and determination. I'm sure you've put long hours into what you've done. You've overcome a lot of challenges and stayed focused to achieve your goals. And you should be very proud of what you've achieved. Throughout your studies here at AIT, you've developed not just technical skills and knowledge, but also creativity, problem solving, and also teamwork. All these qualities are so much needed, and they will help you succeed in your future careers, in whatever you choose to do next. As you move into your careers, remember that learning does not end here, unfortunately. This is not the end. I think this is just the beginning. Given that the worlds of technology, design, and animation, what you've studied at AIT, and film, are always evolving, offering new opportunities to grow, innovate, and make an impact. Stay curious, stay adaptable, and continue to do what inspires you. On behalf of everyone here at Academy of Interactive Technology, congratulations on reaching this milestone. We are proud of you and very excited to see where your talents and passion will take you next. Wishing you all the very best in your future careers. And thank you for being part of our AIT family. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Roxy. And Roxy's seen it all. So take those words really, really well, because Roxy also means what she said. And there's a number of people who really care about you tonight and want to wish you well, but also impart some knowledge that might help. One of those is our keynote speaker. I've got myself on the wrong page. Who is Luke Ledwich. So Luke is a grizzled engineer who has been making games since the last millennium. A generalist at heart, Luke has taken a widening road to the games industry, starting in Sydney with a degree in mechatronics, and Luke worked through academia and 5 other industries before breaking into games. Since then, Luke has worked on 2 continents for numerous studios, helping to ship games and experiences in franchises such as Halo, Destiny, World of Tanks, and Valorant. Luke is currently a staff engineer at Riot Games, working on building gameplay systems for Valorant and driving the engineering processes that keep a AAA studio like that afloat. We're really privileged to have Luke with us, so Luke, welcome.
G'day, my name's Luke Lewich. The first thing I was actually going to do tonight was to congratulate you, but a lot of people have already said that, so I think I want you to just maybe stress that you should internalise why we're doing this. Because you've worked hard, you've done a lot of hours, and you've earned this degree. And now you've come to the end of a journey that started from a very long time ago. And my journey was just around the block. I worked at Riot Games, which is just like 100 metres that way. And today I want to talk to you about graduating and the skills that you might need in the future. And I remember this moment very faintly from my past of when I graduated for the first time, and a few of the things that I encountered, which revolved around a lot of relief actually, and then a little bit of excitement and pride about what I'd built, and then this niggling thought at the back of my head that this might have been the easy bit. And we're about to go out into the big scary world and answer that big scary question, which is, what are you going to do? And it might come back to you as like, what do you want to do? This is not an easy question to answer for most people, and it definitely was not for me. Except when I did this, I had a plan. So when I finished my mechatronics degree, which is basically robotics, I nicked off to London for 6 months and worked in a pub, distinctly to not answer that question. I then may have worked on a beach in Spain where I built tents for Dutch tourists, and then I wound my way back to Australia and actually was fixing life support systems in New South Wales hospitals. I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I might have figured out what I didn't want to do, but I went back to study some more. And this should hopefully come back to the thing that I can't answer that question for you about what you want to do and what's next. I don't know what's next. But there is one thing I do know that will be common amongst all of you as going forward, is in your near future you will need to communicate. And maybe that is something I can help you with. If my phone doesn't slide off. So, why am I confident that you need to communicate? Well, I do it every day. So I work in a AAA studio, I am remote to a studio in LA, and I communicate every day. Actually, some days it's all I do. It's all I do is communicate and talk to. I talk to artists, I talk to animators, I talk to people about cinematics, I talk about designers and testers and every other discipline in between. And I speak to them a lot. Why? Because creative industries require this communication to reach the common goal, especially once you get a size. Creative industries rarely know the exact steps that you have to take to reach an objective. Hell, they don't even know what objective they want to reach most of the time. This is why you iterate and seek feedback. And I know that you will need to do this communication regularly. But what about now? What about what you're about to do? What about that question? What about that question I'm trying to get you to answer, which is, what do I want to do? Well, what can you do? What do you even know is available? In creative industries, there is not a tremendous amount of information about what is available. So how are you actually going to answer that question? And the answer is to communicate. Go and talk to people. Go and talk to your peers. Go and talk to your instructors. Come and talk to industry. Come talk to me. We are the closest thing you are to the opportunities that are out there that you may want to pursue. Now, communication is a dividing subject. For some people, it comes naturally as breathing, and for others, it is literally a manifest nightmare, with or without clothes. And I definitely fell into the latter category. I remember actually chucking a sickie in Year 9 history when I really didn't want to do a talk. It didn't save me then, and it probably will not save you now. Communication is part of your future. And hopefully, I'm doing a good enough job up here that you can realize that this is a learned skill. This is something that you can practice and get better at, but it will take focus. You may need to, and this will be tested a lot in your near future. These skills that you're trying to develop around communication is all about getting your next opportunity. And they will test you, and they will test you hard on your presentation, on your spoken and your written. You will write resumes, you will write cover letters, you will prepare portfolios. And I note the pluralization here. You will probably not get an interview out of your first application. You will need to refine these over time. And then you will have to talk to another human, probably several humans actually, over the course of your interview process. And throughout all of this, you will be solely responsible for presenting yourself as well as possible, and in a competitive environment against all the other candidates in the pool. So how do you get better at being a communicator? There are a lot of things out there, but confidence is one of the strongest. The reason confidence helps so much is it allows you to be precise and get direct about the information that you want to communicate to other people, which is the sole purpose of communicating, which is to transfer information. Now, it'd be nice if you could just go to the store and say, "One confidence, please," but it's not going to happen. And there's going to be no part of this speech which is going to make it as simple as that, as going out and getting your confidence. You will have to earn it. There are definitely techniques and skills that you can go and read up on and acquire to help you get this, but it will require practice. And part of that practice will require you to get feedback, so don't forget that. Don't forget to get feedback. Definitely go and do practice interviews or show your resume to someone, but get the feedback so you can grow. But all of this is ignoring one of the truths, which is you have this competency. You have this competency that will build and fuel your confidence. You spent an entire childhood, adulthood, at whatever point in life you are, building up the ability to talk about things you are engaged with and things that you actually know. Do you realize that you know all this? Do you know that your love of Pokemon, you can actually speak confidently when you talk about it? I'm not sure. But do you know about your craft? And you actually do. You spent 3 years learning it here. And it has been recognized by this institute that you are very competent in your craft. So let that fuel your confidence. But even then, so many people in our field, especially the creative field, find it very hard to realize that they are competent, to realize that skills they brought up are easy to communicate. And that's because it's very easy to see the creative works out there that are built on long timelines and almost perfect states with huge budgets. But you never see the struggle. You never see all the mistakes that were had along the way, which makes it very hard to reconcile with your personal experience of what is probably a bumpy road whenever you create content. So I want to talk about those mistakes because they are pretty critical to confidence and feeling competent. And I'm going to go with an analogy because I just love analogies. And walking along a line that's painted on the road is very easy. Any misstep you make, you don't worry about it, you keep walking forward. But all it takes is to raise that line just up a couple of inches to become a beam. And now it's a beam, you're suddenly worried about falling off. Anytime you fall off, you look at your feet and you stop. What if I told you it's not a problem if you fall off? What if I told you it's not a problem if you stumble? Most people at that point will just run and rolled ankles aside will quickly move across this beam with no problems whatsoever because they don't care about falling off. And it's this focus on the small mistakes which often makes it very hard to see your competency and to let these mistakes get in the way. I mean, you've probably noticed all the times I've stumbled and haven't spoken well and paused like right then. It's part of execution as well. Even learning, execution, mistakes will always be there, but they do not have to actually be impactful. So I'm actually going to go back to a story when I was much younger. One of my other careers was an associate consultant over in New Jersey. And I was at a very important meeting. I was actually wearing a suit, which I despise, and there was a massive big boardroom table and a lot of other people wearing suits. And I was describing a problem, and I dropped an amazing Australianism on a group of New Jersey people, which was, it's all going to go pear-shaped. And there's silence, just utter silence. And then my boss leans across the road, across the table, and says, he means it's going to go poorly. Except it didn't. Honestly, there's a little bit of a chuckle, and the meeting went along, because at the end of the day, the message was delivered. The information was transferred. The small mistake and the slightly unprofessionalism and the stupid Australian in the room didn't actually impact the meeting. And it's worth noting that this is also how it works when you may be looking for an opportunity. We're here to evaluate your competency. We're here to understand how your competency fits our role. And in these processes, I don't hold it against when someone stumbles or misspeaks. That's not important. I just care about the information being transferred about their competency. No candidate's skill set is perfect for any job. You're allowed to not know things. You're allowed to make mistakes. I've hired many candidates who flat out did not know an answer. It's actually a wonderful chance to see if a candidate thinks on their feet and how they handle with the unknown. It's not a deal breaker. It is not a massive mistake. It's just a hiccup, and you can move on. So be honest and communicate what you know, which is your competency that you've built and developed over this time. And celebrate this milestone before everything becomes big and scary and you have to answer these questions and travel around the world several times and not figure out what you want to do. But know that you've built up this competency. Others will see it and they will understand when you communicate it. And lastly, go have a chat with someone. You never know where it will end. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Luke. I think there's a lot to be said for communication and speaking with someone. And one of the really valuable things that I think all of the students at AIT have is that there are a lot of opportunities to interact with people who are in different fields, who have different passions, and you might share similar classes with people who go in a different direction. But the group that you network with at university will stay with you. People in this room will go on to do amazing things, and if you can keep connected to them, then you might be able to help one another grow as you yourself grow. And speaking of growth, we're at a point now where we're moving into the mature part of the evening. Before we do, I'd like to get everybody a little bit energized for what's to come. Now, as I said, there is a lot of talent in this room. So we've collected examples of that talent from across the last 12 months. We've got a show reel for you. We're going to show it to you. And I'd like you all to pay attention. Great stuff, everybody. Great stuff. I hope you enjoy that. I really enjoy looking through it. And look, we are here to talk about and celebrate the work of the students. We will be moving into our proceedings formally in a second. Before I do anything further, I would like to hear from a student to address the group. So I'd like to call Ella Budden to the stage, please.
Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for being here today. family, friends, lecturers, and most importantly, my fellow graduates. For those who don't know me, I'm Ella, and I've studied for the past 3 years in the Bachelor of Film now as a part of the graduating class for 2025. I've been helping around campus for a while, doing little things here and there for the university, and I hope I've seen you around campus. And for those who do know me, great to see you amazing people, and I'm sorry you do have to listen to me for 3 minutes talk. When I first started this degree, I had no idea what the future would bring. I didn't know much about film, and I knew less about what being in university would be like. What surprised me most was how many brilliant creatives I would meet, some of whom became my close friends. I saw what projects you all made, what inspired and drove each of you, which inspired me to create things myself. One of the most memorable experiences for me was when I made my short film about my grandparents. They were elderly firefighters during the Black Saturday bushfires, and more than anything, I wanted to document that. We filmed up in the Blue Mountains, and it was a full-day shoot with a group of students who didn't ever work together before. We carried what felt like half a cinema's worth of equipment to 3 separate houses, somehow got it all to work, and at the end of the day, we created our first documentary that meant the world to me. I still show it to people today. That day taught me something that stayed with me. We can make amazing things together when we work as a team. I'm so sorry, I am a little bit nervous here. And that became a bit of a theme for me throughout this degree. If it wasn't about making a live action film, I was lost. 3D, motion graphics, I felt like someone had handed me a spaceship and said fly it. But what got me through it was the kindness and creativity of the people around me. People who said, it's okay, it'll get better, look better, and one day you'll understand it. Including the brilliant lecturers who never gave up on us. Those who gave feedback freely, were patient, and definitely forgiving at times. My greatest challenge in this degree was the final stretch, the big project at the end. Through that, though, I learned what striving to create, despite the stressful nights, the deleted ideas, and the worry that came with creating something perfect, was all worth it. It was worth it to look at something you've made and written or designed, and you know you created it, and with the help of the people you care about. I'm sure everyone in this room knows that feeling. So to my fellow graduates, no matter what your speciality is, you have come to the end of your journey. And the truth is, and this is going to be a little bit corny, but it's not really an ending at all. It's the beginning of a new chapter where everything you've learned, every project and challenge becomes the foundation for something even greater. You've proven you can create, adapt, and persevere. And that's what will carry you forward. That's what you should all be really proud of. So go out there and tell your story, build your worlds, design your future. The skills we've gained here aren't just tools for work, they're keys to shaping the world that we want to see, making the change that we want to make. So congratulations, class of 2024 and 2025.
One of the things that makes me really proud is seeing the evolution of humans. And there's been a lot of humans here who've evolved throughout their time. And I go back to the first time on campus, or even at the orientation or open days, when a number of people in this room were sitting down thinking, what the hell have I gotten myself into? And you're here now. Congratulations. Thank you, Ella. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Now, as previously endorsed by the Academy of Interactive Technology Academic Board, and in my authority as AIT's Academic Director, I will now admit the graduands in attendance who have completed all of the requirements of their respective qualifications, as well as those who are unable to attend tonight. In order to help me do that, I'd like to invite Roxy back to the stage. And our academic manager, Cynthia Godley, to assist in the certificates. And I will call each graduand now to collect their respective awards. For the Diploma of 2D Animation, An Hoi Hong. you know what we need to do? Do you mind turning it? Excuse me, sir. Do you mind pressing the button on the projector? I think we may have lost the remote. Unless Stephen can... No, disregard. We would... We made you stand up. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank God he didn't ask me.
Now, An Hoi, would you like to come back to the stage and we'll do that without the light in your eyes? Thank you so much. For the Diploma of 2D Animation, An Hoi Hong. Thank you so much. Joe Kennedy. Erisana Sanchez. For the Diploma of Game Design. For the Bachelor of Interactive Media 2D Animation, Jack Walsh. Jamie Burke. Jed Langby. Oh, you missed the photo?
Thank you.
Jed Langby. Jules Sawyer. Lara Kelly. Would the second row please file to the side, thank you. Logan Moe. Olivia Dibon. Owen Albert. Tiana Pantaleo. Tiffany Liu. Zali Ogden Booth. Samuel Gunawan. For the Bachelor of Interactive Media, Film and Video, Christian Garcia Bentacourt. Gul Ali. For the Bachelor of Interactive Media, Games Design, Emily Hunt. Would the third row please rise? the Bachelor of 2D Animation, Jodie Myers. Tung Vi Pham. Yuri Ria Ruiz. Zim Levis. Raya Shanice Erin. For the Bachelor of 3D Animation. For the Bachelor of Film, Augusto Alves. Ella Budden. Peter Lisko. For the Bachelor of Game Design, Anouk Versig. Sam Lovell. Would the fourth row please stand up? Also for the Bachelor of Game Design, Samant Foyal. For the Bachelor of Information Technology, Mobile Applications Development, Hafsa Sharik. Pravesh Ramal. Victor Hugo. David Martinson. Gitanjali Mahajan. Mosam Dahal. Pragesh Devbandari. Pranish Pathak. Utsav Nipane. Chanda Shrestha. Thank you. And would the fourth row please sit down? Give them a round of applause while they're sitting down, everybody. So by virtue of being endorsed by AIT's academic board and receiving your testament, you have officially become graduates of AIT, and you may move the tassels on your caps to the left side as a symbol of your new status. Congratulations again. Now, we're almost done, but I'd like to bring Roxy back to the stage, please, because every year we have a couple of special awards that go to students for their achievements. The first award that we will give today is for academic excellence, and we have one for both faculties, the interactive media faculty and the information technology faculty. Roxy, if you'd like to come to the stage, please. The Academic Excellence Award goes to the student in each faculty with the highest grade point average across the period. This year, for the Information Technology faculty, the award goes to Pranish Pathak. Come this way. And for interactive media, the award goes to Sam Lovell. Now, I will just note that a little birdie told me it's actually Pranish's birthday today. Is that correct? Happy birthday, congratulations. Now, in addition to the Academic Excellence Award, every year AIT recognises students who just put in effort to support other people, to support the college, and to support the field. We're really, really fortunate at this particular college to have a number of students who genuinely care about their passion, genuinely care about their outputs, involve themselves in award ceremonies, help AIT out at AIT's ceremonies, help students out and volunteer their time. This award is always really difficult because there are so many worthy candidates for it. However, for 2024-2025 graduating cohort, the Integrity Award from AIT is being awarded to Anouk Versik. Congratulations, everybody. And congratulations to all of those people who put effort in. To the academic team who supported the graduates throughout their studies. Sammy, you've done an amazing job coordinating and wrangling tonight. Cynthia, so have you. Thank you very, very much. Thank you, Josh, for your tireless work, filming everybody. Thank you, Stephen and Carlton, for setting up the sound and making sure that it works. This concludes our evening of formalities. Before we move into the food and the drink, which I invite you all to hang around and enjoy, we would like to get a photo of all of the graduates traditionally throwing on their caps. I'm going to hand over to Josh now, who's going to coordinate that. And anyone who wants to take photos of the act, check with Josh where he'd like you to stand so that you get the full impact.
Yeah, if anyone wants to take the live photo, you can join me on the stage here. And then all the graduates, can I get you to stand for me? And can we try and bunch together as close as possible? Everybody come in nice and close. You guys can try to squeeze in as much as you can, Suck it in. All right. Now I want everybody to be prepared hats in hand. I'm going to do a countdown, 3, 2, 1, and then we're going to go for it. Ready? All right.